Something as simple as the water you drink to improve your health might be actually working against you. Key Walker, founder of Moon Jug Water, is revolutionizing our understanding of hydration through his mission to bring living water to every household. Through his work sourcing pristine water from the North Georgia mountains, Key has discovered how industrialization of water from plastic bottles to artificial processing has disconnected us from nature's most powerful healing forces. His insights into living water versus dead water offers a fresh perspective on why true hydration is more than about drinking your daily quota. In this eye opening conversation, Key reveals why the quality of water matters just as much as the quantity, and how returning to nature's water design could transform your health. Welcome to the Heal Deal Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Leona Allen, and I'm here to help you achieve more freedom in your health and your life. I'm the founder of Freedom Health Systems, and I've been a licensed chiropractor and wellness coach for over 2 decades. I've helped men, women, and children transform their lives by removing the physical, chemical, and emotional barriers to natural healing. Every week, I'll be taking you on a journey where you will discover the real truth behind what it takes to heal your mind, body, and soul. Allow me to be your guide as you travel this road to renewed health and a new life. It's time to make a deal with yourself to heal yourself. Please keep in mind that this podcast is for educational purposes only and not to be used as a replacement for medical diagnosis or treatment. With that said, let's begin. Key Walker, welcome to the Heal Deal Podcast. It's an honor to have you as one of our featured speakers. And I know we're going to get into something that is very important. We're going to talk about something that is essential for our metabolic health. But a little bit about you. You are the founder of Moon Jug Water, and you're really revolutionizing how we think about the water's role in our health. And we're also going to get more into the quality of water and how it's more important to know about it, and what a lot of people are drinking may think is healthy, but we're going to get into those differences later. But before we get into the importance of water and what you do, what is your story? How's your journey? I know you work with Dr. Sebi's family and some amazing things that you've done, but I want to know more about your story and how did you get into creating Moon Jug?
Well, first, thank you for having me, Dr. Leona. It's a pleasure to be here and be able to connect with the people and spread the word of living hydration. Moon Jug basically has been here as the solution for our community. I started basically 10 years ago this year. After my mom contracted diabetes, I started to look into research on how she could heal herself, basically. And I looked at the harmful water practices that was going on. So I'm like, of course, my mom getting diabetes, and I thought she ate good and drank good. And so me being her son, if she got it, then of course it would be coming for me next. So I wanted to get ahead of it and also help her to find a way to, you know, ease this, illness that was taking place. So 2015, I started to bottle my water with coral calcium, which is 74 trace minerals that the body needs. And I noticed that with it being in plastic, it would strip. The water would actually strip the plastic. So I'm like, okay, if it's stripping the plastic, then we're consuming the plastic. And then I dove into what was going on behind the scenes with all of these bottled water brands and what their practices was. And they were essentially killing the water. And in turn, when we consume it, it actually robs our body and organs of minerals the more that we consume it. So we're never really getting hydrated. So I'm like, this is suffocating the cells of the body. So there's no healing that's going to be able to take place for me, my mother, or anybody else if we don't address our issue with the water first.
I know it is pretty alarming to find out how, that plastic water is very damaging. But one thing that you said is that it's like, you're talking about your mom had diabetes and she ate well. And a lot of people think they're doing well and they're drinking their gallon of water every day and they don't realize what is happening with their health because they don't understand. They think all water is good water. Okay. As long as it looks clean, it's good. So I really want you to share that connection between the bottled water, the plastics, which you already shared, even some of these filtration systems, the thing about alkalized water. I mean, let's talk about what people are up against, and then we'll go into the difference of how living water is different than a lot of these waters that people are taking in right now.
Indeed. So basically, everybody has been hoodwinked into this plastic bottled water industry. A lot of people don't remember when it came in. And, because our grandmothers were the ones who were canning all of their vegetables and stuff in glass. The milkman was delivering in glass. But it actually came into fruition during the 70s. And they snuck into our house through the Tupperware industry. So everybody, was like, Tupperware is the best thing since sliced bread. You could throw it on the ground. Even people now, bring me my Tupperware back. Where you going? You leaving my house with them plates of food? Bring me my Tupperware back. So it just came and sunk its teeth into us, and it's been suffocating us from the outside environment, destroying the food chain supply, the aquatic life, all the way to our own internal system where plastic bottled water has dioxins that are released whenever it's heated or even cold. And those dioxins in turn causes breast cancer in women, colon cancer in men. So it's just, never a safe time to consume the life source, which is, water out of a toxic material such as plastic. Being that plastic is made with crude oil, these are endocrine disruptors in our system. So I always tell people the only way that you can control a nation is actually through the water. This is something that everybody requires. There's not a being on this planet that doesn't require water. And there's not an instrument that we've created in this life that doesn't require water to make it.
Right.
So it's just, very, very valuable information that I had to get out to the community on, what was really going on behind the scenes. And then educate them on what a real water source is, like Moon Jug.
Yeah, because a lot of people think, oh, I do drink my water, but they're drinking a lot of that plastic water. And you made a point because I was born in the 70s. And I'm trying to think, when did that bottled water become popular? Because we used to drink out the garden hose and drink tap water. So I don't know what the quality of the water was back then, but that's what I grew up on. So I don't even
Yeah.
know when bottled water got popular. But you made a good point, somebody to look into. But you're absolutely right. It is everywhere. And sometimes I see this bottled water at gas stations outside in the heat. And I know that's not good. It's bottled and it's getting, melted in the sun. Oh my goodness. So we know there's an issue with that. And what's your thoughts on some of these water purifications that people put on their sink or those Britas or those refrigerator filters? You have anything you want to share about those systems?
Yeah, so I mean, the Britas, I mean, that's just like child's play. I mean, that's what's that Fisher Price? That's what the kids play with.
Yeah.
That's what that's what we look at Brita filters like. That's Fisher Price, man. Come on, what we doing?
Hmm. I remember I remember looking at that. I used to do Brita.
Well, I mean, it comes a time where everything updates. Our phone updates, we update. So it wasn't that you were wrong. It's just that you didn't know at that time. So, but when we put the water into these Brita filters, it's not removing what we think is removing, and then it's actually adding in more chemicals into the water. So we leave the Brita filters alone. And then when you deal with reverse osmosis, which most bottling plants are doing, most of the water that you consume is reverse osmosis, which is a process where the water is taking a chemical bath. At that point, they're killing the water. They're destroying it. It becomes dead water at that moment. And then in turn, they put it in plastic, which of course doesn't make it any better. Or they'll say, hey, We flavor enhanced it. We added electrolytes and minerals for taste, because essentially it's dead. So now they're attempting to mimic what our water is doing naturally. So we don't have to do that process with our water. Our water is actually ran from grassy mountain underneath the ground for 500 million years, and it busts out to this spring that runs into our 44,000 square foot bottling facility that's tested every hour, that's ran by Harvard professionals. So, there's a difference when you keep the mineral content intact, and you just pay the water its highest respect by bottling it straight from the source into the glass into our community, which hasn't been offered. So,
Yeah, it makes sense. The most close to nature, the better, but everything has been so denatured in this society. So I had my evolution from tap water from a garden hose to a Brita to, I think I had a distiller at one point. So yeah, it's like I had my journeys of water. So let's talk about living water and really how it helps the body metabolically. Because I know this is what I want people to understand is they just think all water's created equal. But I really want you to like paint a picture of how living water is so different. Maybe you can explain by symptomatology how we can tell. I mean, is there a way? Because some people think there's no difference. I thought that for a long time.
yeah, so we gotta understand that our body has trillions of cells, right? The cells is how we display who we are. This is how our body shows up through the cells. So the only way to properly hydrate these cells is actually through real water, living water, water that is running and cleansing itself every 100 feet. That's what real water does. It cleanses itself every 100 feet. And so when you consume living water, it's the electric fuel that you need. It's the conductor that you need because your heart is electric. We're electric based beings, so that is what keeps it pumping. Not only that, hydrogen, when we speak about pH and things like that, water is two hydrogen molecules. We already know that. You know what I'm saying? But what they don't tell you is that it's two hydrogen atoms. And what is an atom? An atom is a building block of life. 99.9% empty space. So the pH of water would be infinite. And this is why our planet, our body, our brains are all composed of over 80% water. So it makes a huge difference when you're giving yourself proper hydration, real hydration. You'll think a lot clearer. I've had people say that it's removed brain fog. I've had people say that they feel it internally, flushing out their system, not in an unnatural way, but in a natural way, not sending you to the bathroom or anything like that. It's a natural process, but it's a state of enlightenment that you get when you feeding your body real information, because every drop of water holds memory.
Oh, that's powerful. I mean, I knew water was important, but you're sharing some things that I didn't realize. I mean, I know it's powerful, but the fact that a drop holds memory, I mean, that's oh my goodness, that's powerful. And then the trillions of cells and that 80% of our body is water. Because I'm just thinking about all the people that really don't, they say they don't like water or they don't drink water, or I mean there's no appreciation of it, and if
Yep.
they are drinking it, they're drinking this dead devitalized water. Yeah, so I'm glad we're having this
Yes, this is.
conversation because people can be doing all the things, changing their diet. If they're not drinking water, it could just sabotage everything, and even if they're drinking tap water, it could sabotage. So a lot of people don't think of the power of water, and that's why I invited
At
you to
all.
this podcast. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Yes, because I mean, we're facing neurological issues. We have to think about it like this: Hitler put fluoride in the concentration camps, right? Gas chambers. Now they put fluoride in our water. The moment we go in there and we take a hot shower with the door closed, what's going on? You turning it literally into a gas chamber. The skin is the largest organism on the body, so you're absorbing all of that. So when it comes to filters and stuff like that, We only deal with like aqua genuity. Other than that, it's Moon Jug.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the Brita thing again. I remember reading it when I was evolving with my water choices, and it says removing chlorine taste. It doesn't say it removes chlorine. It just says it removes the taste. I think I took a picture of it some time ago, but they tell you without telling you what's really going on. And then you brought up a good point
Exactly.
too, because yes, they put fluoride in our water because we've been lied to thinking this is what we need for good dental health, I guess. It prevents
Yeah.
cavities, but it was actually a waste product because they didn't know what else to do with it. So we're dealing with that. But not only that, there's birth control pills in water. I mean, there's all kind of
Yeah.
residues that we need that we're not
Yes.
aware of. Hmm.
The atrazine in the water, the benzene in the water, the arsenic, the lead, which is a huge issue in my hometown of Chicago and Flint, Michigan. It's a lot of places, even right here in Atlanta. This people don't even realize this is another version of Flint, Michigan right here.
But have you ever you looked at EWG business website and looking at the water content? It's pretty scary. So one other thing I want to ask you, because I know there's a lot, I mean, it shouldn't be so many different kinds of water. It should just be living water and that's it. But it's become a big business. So we got electrolyte water, we got
Right.
flavored water, we got, I mean, you probably know more than I do, but it's all kinds of water. And people ask me all the time, what kind of water should I drink? But, and I say in a perfect world, spring water, but we'll get into that in a moment, how to get access to that. So we know, but we're not just going to go to any spring. Maybe you can elaborate on that in just a moment. But another question that comes up are these machines that people have, these, I can't even say the word that word,
The
the
alkaline
alkaline
Kangen
water.
machines.
Yeah, that thing. You have something to say about those?
Yes.
But people ask me about that all the time.
Yeah, so I mean, people don't realize during Hiroshima and Nagasaki when we bombed Japan, that's where the alkaline Kangen machine came into fruition. It was during a time of war in which they had to respond out of necessity to artificially cleanse their water, to artificially raise the pH of the water to consume it because we had bombed them. So, in essence, nobody should be continuing the use of this alkaline, fake counterfeit alkaline water because what it does is it actually tears out the stomach lining in the gut, making it harder for you to digest over time. So, this is something that, if you're going through chemotherapy where they're eliminating all the cells in the body, then okay, you can have Kangen water. But if you're a regular, everyday functioning individual, that's not something that you want to have. That's a whole fad that came in. Like even with smart water, then it was smart water, alkaline water. Like what is going on? Then it was, Essentia. They put the baking soda in the water to artificially raise the pH. It's a lot of gimmicks that they do, and it's a lot of different bottle brands that are owned by the same companies. Again, the only way to take over a nation is through the water.
Oh my goodness. So let's get into the living water now. Now we know what we're doing and why it's not good for us and what we need to do. So we have Moon Jug, we got living water. How is that different than all the other water companies?
So basically, we have a 33-acre spring in the North Georgia mountains with a 44,000 square foot bottling plant and facility. So again, this water is running from Grassy Mountain at the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains untouched. So it goes straight from the source into the glass. So there's no reverse osmosis taking place. There's no alkaline Kangen machine violently splitting the molecules of the water to, to artificially raise the pH. This is the way the Most High intended for us to drink natural living water. So, like on every bottle of Moon Jug, it says alkali, ALKLI, which is the root word. That word can be said in any language and it doesn't change. and that stands for a pH of 7 plus naturally occurring from the earth. So that's the big difference, is that our water is naturally alkali. You know what I'm saying? It's bottled in the glass, so it's maintaining the purity, and then you're getting a whole nother experience once you consume it.
It's simple. Water from the source. I mean, I mean, what more can you say
That's
about that?
it.
And it is bottled in glass.
Right. Natural filtration through limestone, you know?
Yeah, because I was saying that the sun hits it, it's getting the sunlight and minerals from the rocks it hits and all that good stuff, right? Am I saying that
Yes.
right? It just makes
Yes.
sense.
And then it springs up into our facility.
Okay, so we got the good water, we got Moon Jug, and is it delivered? I mean, can people get access to this water?
Yeah, so of course people could, always check me out on Instagram at Moon Jug Water. And then check us out online at moonjug.com so you can place your order. We ship nationwide. We deliver in the Atlanta and surrounding areas as well. We are doing a national launch, so we will be getting out to more cities and states this year. So everybody just check us out, Moon Jug Water on Instagram and other social media platforms, moonjug.com online.
All right. I want to tell people no matter what you do, you got to have some living water, no matter what. And it doesn't discriminate. I mean, everybody needs water.
Exactly.
Everybody needs
I
it. There's
mean,
no this water for this person, that water for that person.
I mean, this is the killer part, Dr. Leona. It takes more water to create the plastic bottle than the actual water that's inside of the plastic bottle.
Oh my
So it's just a
goodness.
complete waste. It's the waste of it's lowering our frequency on the planet. It no longer serves us. So it's just time to do away with it. I mean, we have to gear our life towards no plastic, because otherwise what are we setting our future generations up for? What are we doing to our babies? I mean, at this point they're finding literal clogs of microplastics in the vessels that are feeding the brain. So essentially you're pouring plastic into your brain every time you drink it.
Oh my goodness. You made it. Every time you share something, I'm just blown away because you said it takes more water to make plastic water bottles than the water itself. I mean, everything is wasteful. They done mess with everything.
Yeah, they're trying to break the planet, and
I
it's on us
know.
to restore it.
I mean, the most basic thing is just destroyed, except for Moon Jug. So, oh, this is so important. And I had another question. I'm like so blown away. I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah. So once it's bottled, you know how I know this might be a stupid question, but somebody might have the same question. It's no stupid questions, but
Right, it's
I'm
not a
just saying
stupid
it just
question.
came to my mind. So, does it expire? Like when the
No,
water is in the jar, does it expire? I'm just wondering. It's just a question that popped in my head.
that's great, because in my early days, in my early research 10 years ago, that was one of my first videos. That if your water bottle has an expiration date on it, it's not real. It's
Oh,
always in fine print on those plastic water bottles.
you're
And
right.
it's letting you know, it's time up for this. Like, what's inside of it is not real. What's inside a moon jug, it'll be that forever. There's nothing you can do to change this. This will never expire. It's
You
it's,
make
it's pure as the day that you got it.
because it's yeah, yeah. I'm glad I asked that question.
Yeah, because water is mutable. It becomes whatever you house it
Yeah.
in.
Mm. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we got into living water versus tap, the effects of plastic water on public health. We talked about the solutions with Moon Jug. We talked about where we can find you. Anything else you want to share about water that people need to know? Because you probably know about all the questions and concerns and the myths and the mistakes. Because I know I've had my journey. I mean, I mean, I'll admit it. I have my reverse osmosis machine. I'm like thinking that over again. I'm like, uh-oh. I mean, I got my order of your water coming, but I do have a reverse
Yes.
osmosis machine thinking I'm doing good. But you just
Yeah.
shattered me on that one. I'm just-
Well, no worries. That's why I'm here with the solution. And I
yeah.
know the other thing that I would want the people to grasp is that, of course, I'm nothing without the support of my people, but also that water is the messenger of God.
Yeah.
You know, that's what this is about. You know, and that's why it's so powerful. That's why our world is, contained with water. You
Yeah.
know, it's so much magic in the water. You know, so we have to realize, like, you can't even have fresh fruits or vegetables if you don't have fresh water.
You're right. I agree. That's why I was when I met you, I was just like, remember when I met you and I left and I was like, and then I went back and I was like, we need to talk because I knew, even though I've been using my reverse osmosis machine, I think it cleans just about everything. I knew that it had no life in it, but at least it didn't have the fluoride. It was like, like you said, it was just dead clean water, and then I would put minerals back in, so that's what I did. And I use it for
Mhm.
cooking and things like that. So I know it's a option, but now I know that I have access to something even better as far as when it comes to hydrating my body. So I can't wait to try it and see the effects that it will have. And I'll be sure to tell you about it. So we're all evolving and learning, and I'm just thankful that I came across you and your business and sharing this word with people, because if I'm like doing this and I'm a doctor and study this stuff, I can imagine that a lot of people just think they know we just know we just don't know what we don't know. And I knew that living water, it makes sense. I knew that living water is important, but I want to make sure that people understand how important it is and how the alternatives can be causing more harm than good. So thank you for
Exactly.
that. Yeah. All right. Any
Yes, ma'am.
closing comments for us before we let you go from this amazing conversation?
Yes, again, thank you for having me. It's been great. I look forward to servicing the community even more the next 10 years and on. Check us out again, moonjug.com. Go ahead and subscribe so that you can set your family up for proper hydration from here on out.
Yep, hydration matters. So thank you for that. And I'll make sure I have all the details around this video somewhere so they can get in touch with you. And everyone else, get that water in, make your order. We got to drink living water. It matters. And until next time, go out there and achieve more freedom in your health and your life. Take care. Okay, after that conversation, I'm about to step up my water game. That was eye opening. Key really shed a light on why not all water is created equal. His insights remind us that true hydration requires more than just drinking any kind of water. It requires drinking the right water in its natural living state. So, what our conversation revealed was how plastic bottles and processing methods can turn water from life giving to life depleting, why spring water's natural mineral content and structure matter for cellular health, the surprising history behind common water treatment methods, and practical ways to access real living water for optimal health. Now, if you're ready to experience the difference of true spring water, visit moonjug.com to learn more about his mission to bring living water to your home. Thank you for joining us for another amazing episode. And until next time, take care. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed the show, seal the deal to heal by leaving a review, subscribing to the podcast, and sharing with a friend. Thanks again, and we'll continue the journey next week.